This is me, 5 hours into a study session, tired, exhausted, and I'm still not finished. At this pace, no way I'm gonna sleep tonight. This was not just a one-time thing. That used to be my life every single day. Wake up, study, go to sleep, and repeat. I used to do that every day. Now don't get me wrong, it wasn't because I was failing. My grades were actually good, but that was not enjoyable. I hated studying that way. It felt like I had no life outside of my textbooks. In that moment, I realized that something needed to change. There had to be a better way to study. So I went all in on finding a solution. I researched everything I could. Study methods, memory techniques, and focus hacks. I watched videos, read articles, and talked to all of the smart people that I know about how to study smarter. And today, I can officially say that I study way less than before. And the good thing is, my grades are still great. So you're probably wondering, how did this guy pull that off? Is it really possible to study less and get better grades? Well, the answer is yes. And let me tell you how I did it. Now, before we start, let's quickly make a gentleman agreement. If you watch this video and get any type of value, hit the subscribe and like button. Now, let's get to the video. Chapter 1. Desperate times need desperate solutions. So here's the first big thing I changed. I started putting a time limit on my study sessions. Before, I would just grind for hours. No structure, no urgency. Now, I tell myself, you have 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's it. Actually, I try to plan my day so I study for 1 hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours, and then I have an appointment somewhere to be. That way, I truly force myself to focus in that time. The strange part is, when I started doing that, when I added a time limit, my brain adapted. It was suddenly like I was racing the clock. Every minute felt important. And you've probably felt this before. You know, when you're in an exam and there's 30 minutes left and you're still not finished, your brain uses all the power that you have to answer the last question. I mean, one time I tried that, my brain was working so hard, I turned red. And in those moments, you stop procrastinating. You just go straight to work. You focus. And imagine if you could do that every single day. Wouldn't it be great? That's what putting a time limit can help you do. By giving myself less time, I focused on the important things and just got them done. Because not having a time limit will just make your brain expand the work so it fills out the time. And that's called Parkinson's law. Give yourself 5 hours to do something that takes 2 hours, and it will take 5 hours. But when you only allow 90 minutes, suddenly your brain starts asking the right questions. What's essential here? What can I skip? What's important? So I did not just study faster because of this. I started to actually study smarter. But, and this is important, just giving yourself a time limit will not make you study faster automatically. It will not fix all of the problems that you have. You also have to make sure that you're focusing on the right things. And this leads me to the next chapter. Chapter 2. What are you actually doing, bro? I used to waste so much time studying without realizing it. I would sit there reading the textbook like it was a novel, line by line, highlighting random stuff, convincing myself that I was being productive. In reality, I was just looking busy. After talking to some of the best students that I know, people are studying engineering, law, and medicine, I figured out that they all have one thing in common. They never studied without a goal. Every session had a destination. They did not just read chapter 4. They would say, by the end of this, I want to be able to explain how blood pressure is regulated. And that's when it clicked for me. If you don't know what you're aiming for, you can spend hours working and not moving forward. So here's a technique that I started using. Before reading any topic, I would look at the questions related to the topic, either from past papers, assignments, or tests. That way, I knew exactly what was important to focus on. No more reading everything and every line in the chapter. I started reading what actually matters. This single shift made me go from reading just for the sake of reading to learn. So this technique will not only help you study faster, it will actually help you become a better student. But there is one more thing, because even if you're focused, even if you have a goal, if you're using the wrong method, you will still waste time. So let's talk about that. Chapter 3. Do what works for you. This one took me the longest to learn. We all study the way other people study because we assume that that's the right way. We copy their methods, their note-taking system, and wonder why we can't move forward. There's no one-size-fits-all method for studying. Some people thrive on flashcards. Some people love mind maps. Some people like to read in total silence. Some like to read, others like to watch videos. So it really depends on what type of person you are and how you like to read and study. I used to think watching YouTube videos was a lazy approach, but now I love watching YouTube videos. I've figured out that that's how I learn the best. I like to see what I'm learning about because in reality, it does not matter what is the right way. The only thing that matters is what works for you. So stop looking at everybody else and what they're doing and find a system that works for you. And that's exactly what I did. I experimented a lot. I tried every single study method. I tried a lot of habits, a lot of routines, and figured out what works for me. So yeah, chapter 4, the hidden enemy. Now, even after I fixed all that, found a good strategy, had a goal, had a time limit, there was one thing that made me study for longer than I was supposed to. There was one thing that was holding me back. It was not laziness, it was screen time. You might think, yeah, I know, I should spend less time on my phone. But hear me out, your focus is not just about what you do while studying. It's also about what's pulling you away. The average student check their phone 100 times a day. Every time you do that, you get a dopamine hit. And the more dopamine hits you get, the harder it becomes to do something that does not give you instant reward. Something like studying. So what happens? You open up your notes, study for 5 minutes, and your brain get bored. Normal, right? And then you wonder why it takes 5 hours to finish your homework. When I realized this, I started treating focus like a skill. I trained it the way I would train a muscle in the gym. I reduced my screen time using a few key strategies, and the results were great. My focus went from a very low level to being able to focus for 90 minutes straight with no problem. If you want to know how I did it, you can watch the video. I will link in the description below. I've made an entire video about this, so you can go and check it out if you want. The final chapter. So let's put all this together. This is the formula that made me go from studying 5 hours and not even finishing my questions to studying a couple hours a day and getting good grades. Number 1. Set a strict time limit. It will help you create urgency and it will also help you focus. Number 2. Study with a goal. Know exactly what you want to learn and what you want to get out of the text. Number 3. Find out what works for you. Stop looking at everybody else and find out how you learn the best way. Number 4. Protect your focus. Stop scrolling and actually train your focus like it's a muscle. Sometimes you don't need to study more. You just need to study smarter. I hope you found this video helpful. Give it a like and subscribe. See you next time.